Hi, it's Kimberly Jacobs at forthekids.net, and I wanted to talk to you today about the 4 stages of knowing and what that means for our students. I'm going to use the analogy of walking to kind of explain this before I give you my opinion of what that means for curriculum and teachers and lesson planning. So when a baby's born, they don't know that they don't know how to walk. They have instincts, they have reflexes, they have needs, they have wants, of course, but there are things they don't know that they don't know. And walking's one of them. They're kind of laying there, they're worried about where the next meal's coming from, if they're in some kind of physical pain, they communicate, but they don't know that they don't know how to walk. They hadn't thought about it, didn't know it existed. They aren't worried about that. Then there's a stage where babies are holding their heads up and they're kind of scooting around the house and they realize that they don't know how to walk. Other people are standing up, other people are reaching things, and they can't do that. So sometimes I've seen a couple kids get frustrated, some nieces and nephews, but what they normally try to do is try to walk. They see somebody doing something that they don't know how to do and they try to learn how to do it. And they'll practice until they're tired and just completely exhausted, pulling themselves up. One of my daughters used to scoot along the couch and then to the wall and then across the wall and around because she knew she didn't know how to walk in the middle of the floor. But if she was holding on to something, she could get almost anywhere in the house. So she knew she didn't know how to walk across the room. Then there was a stage that children know that they know how to walk across the room, but it takes kind of some thought. It's not automatic. The curriculum word, I guess, is automaticity. They do not have an automaticity to their walk. They'll turn around at the couch, they'll plant their feet, they'll look to where they're going, and they'll walk there. Purposeful walk. Maybe falling partway through, maybe struggling, maybe having to stop and regain their balance. So they can do it, but it takes some effort, it takes concentration, it takes thought. But they know that they know how to do this now. And then as an adult, most of us get to the point where we don't even think about knowing how to walk. Fire alarm goes off at school and I jump up, I grab the red folder. We used to have to grab a bucket and we get the kids and we walk out the door and, lock it and do all these things. And we're not thinking about walking. We're doing it automatically, we're doing it fluidly, we're doing it without falling over. Generally, I'm not bumping into things, and I'm not having to stop and get my balance again. I don't even think about knowing how to walk. Doesn't enter my mind. So what that means for students and children and learning, to me, what that means is that our special ed students and our children that are coming from poverty, there might be more that they don't know than it would be for an average child. And so that's why I'm a big proponent of special education students with any kind of disability having full access to a core curriculum and to a general ed classroom environment so that they see these things that they don't know. And not to frustrate them, but to just know there's a possibility. Maybe there's something they don't know that would inspire them to want to learn it. It would engage them and make them passionate enough to work that extra effort to learn how to do that or learn how to read that or learn how to solve that math problem so that they can go to space camp when they're in high school. So when we limit children's knowing of the world, we limit their ability to access that whole part of the world. My brother is an engineer, and so there's some math that I kind of know that I know how to do it. I need a piece of paper, I need a refresher, that he does in his head automatically. Or he can pull out his calculator and remember which buttons to push in which order to solve it. So, he got to a point in mathematics where I can see it, I know about it, but I don't know it well enough to do it. But he does. But I can talk to teachers and I can get a student to maybe write a 5-paragraph essay who generally doesn't want to hold up a pencil because I'm good at motivating that, and that's not my brother's talent. So we all have different talents. But the thing is, I know about engineering and I know there's math out there, and if it was my passion to be an engineer, I could put forth the effort and try to learn that. But if the students don't know those things are out there, they can't choose to put forth an effort. They can't choose to follow that dream or that passion. So special education students, if they're in a room where everybody's just working on sitting in their chair and pushing their chair in, when do they learn about Shel Silverstein? At Villalobos, I think every second grade student knows about Shel Silverstein because everybody does a unit on where the sidewalk ends. So we might have students in the special ed classroom next door who wouldn't be able to read the poems, but they could appreciate them, they could enjoy them, they could decide, oh, maybe I want to be a poet, and that would inspire them to practice their letters so they could write a poem that somebody else could read. But if they don't know it's out there, if they don't know being a poet's a job and you could write a book about it, maybe they won't have the passion to work through those things that are harder because they don't know it's out there. The other group of children that I really worry about having taught at Central School is the children of poverty. What things don't they know because they haven't been exposed to it? And for this one, I'm going to use the example of a zoo. All my children have been to the zoo, and they know what a zoo is. They know it's one place that has lots of animals that are in captivity, but the environments kind of mirror the environment that the animal was located in the wild. So a seal's going to still be in water, and the flamingos are going to be in a shallow pond, and the zebra's going to be on a little safari-like dry area, and the polar bears are going to have fake looking little walls of ice, and they'll have cooler water. But if you're a child of poverty and you've never been to a zoo, maybe all you know is a zoo is where animals live. Maybe you don't know what it takes to make a zoo, to have those different habitats, that the people working at the zoo have to create these different habitats so the animals are happy and comfortable and thrive, and there's somebody who makes special dinners for each animal so it meets his nutritional needs. If you haven't been to a zoo to think about this, maybe you don't know that. Maybe somebody out there is meant to be, the master zookeeper at the San Francisco Zoo someday, but his parents never took him to a zoo, and his teacher is the only link to that bigger outside world to say, hey, I don't know if you knew this, but there's a job being a zookeeper. There's a job where you just make sardine dinners for the seals and the penguins. And so as a teacher, it's our job to open the world up for the kids so that they have choices. And I'm not a huge proponent of every child needs to get to Algebra 2 and take geometry because they need to have opportunities. But I think they at least need to know Algebra 2 exists. I think they at least need to know that geometry is out there. So if they choose to do it, they can. You want all your children to leave being a better person and having a bigger view of the world after they've been in your classroom. So my name is Kimberly Jacobs. My website's forthekids.net, and I'm working on some courses, and it's going to take teachers through these kind of bigger picture thoughts when it comes to writing lessons and units. The Common Core Standard is directed toward that we want to integrate, and we want the students to have a real life purpose for knowing these things. So this is a great place to start. Maybe you've moved grade levels this year and you're going to go to TPT and buy some units. Wouldn't it be more powerful for you to look at the standards and create your own units with your own passion, and look at what the students at your school, what is it that they have, what is it they're lacking, and don't just do a cookie cutter lesson that you bought from somebody else. Learn to write your own lessons and sell it to other people, because you might have a different clientele of students than the person who wrote that lesson. Maybe they're from a middle class, school where everybody goes to the zoo in the summer with their families, and so they don't think about the other little windows that need to be opened for children, or other little places where we want to shine the spotlight. Only you know your students and your clients and what they need. So if you think you might want to do some professional development on how to write curriculum, Kimberly Jacobs, I have a master's degree in curriculum and instructional design. That's my passion. I love writing a lesson. I'm super excited about the Common Core Standards because it matches better what I think learning is, and that's kids connecting what they know to the world and thinking brand new thoughts for themselves, not this scripted thing where my passion as a teacher is, to make quilts, but I can't talk about quilting when we're doing fractions because that's not in the script of the math book that my district bought. That they need to learn fractions, and so however you use fractions in your life, share that with the kids. how you know your best friend uses fractions in her life. Share that with the kids. Don't just read from a script. So if you think you might be interested in that, visit forthekids.net. The classes are going to be on teachforthekids.net, and those are going to be coming up this summer. If you enjoy this Facebook post and anything in here kind of struck a chord with you and you're like, yeah, I agree with that, share it out to your friends. I just want to help teachers remember why they went into teaching and be encouraging to them to do the best job they can for their kids. And, just jump in. Think about what do you know you don't know, and maybe learn something new this summer for yourself. So my name's Kimberly Jacobs. I'm going to turn this around for a second if I can. Hi. So I hope you enjoyed my YouTube, and I'm going to put it on Facebook. And I appreciate you watching. And let's just think about what our kids don't know, because teaching them the things that they want to know already is easy. Opening a window for them to teach them something they didn't even know existed 183 days ago. That's exciting. So have a good evening. Thanks for watching. Bye.